Alright, in order to set this document up, you must have an image that you want to print as a sticker. Okay? It must be the size you want the sticker to be. You can make changes after the fact to this, but I would highly suggest that you do the setup here. In other words, under File, Document Setup, Edit Artboards. I know this artboard is 3.74 by 4.97. In other words, 5 by 3-ish. So set that up ahead of time, and then shrink your image to that new document. Alright, you're going to need 2 layers. We're going to need another layer, and on that layer is going to be a cut path and a perforation path. Okay? You can make these by simply drawing around the outside of the image. I'm going to turn this one off just to show you. It's no different than any other workflow, but you take the pen tool and you're going to draw a line around the entire image. Okay. One way to get it so that you can get one just a little bit bigger is if you take one of them and go Object, Path, Offset Path, Preview. It allows you to make a path based upon the first path. That is a little bit bigger. You want the outside path to be bigger. Next, you have to go to Swatches, and you can find swatches under Swatches. And you need to make the following swatches. Perf Cut Contour as a spot color with these numbers. Okay. This is the new swatch button. So you can just click on that and type in those numbers. You need to make another one called Cut Contour with 100% magenta. Spot color. And lastly, if you're doing white, you have to make this one. RDGB white _ white. All capital letters with 25% across all CMYK. Alright, so this outside one is going to be my cut. That needs to be green with no fill. So I have to kind of toggle these through to kind of fool it. So how I do that is like that and that. So combination of adding the swatch and then toggling it through so that the top one is in fact clear. The next one has to be the pink or magenta. And if you're doing white, it has to be the gray background. It's good practice to probably add this in. You don't have to use it, but just in case it's there, just in case you want to make a window cling on transparent window cling material later on. Once you're done drawing this one and adding that color, and drawing this one and adding that color, you can then put it in back of the actual sticker. Then you go File, Save As, and save it as a PDF. This case I have sticker _ white. Alright, so I'm on a Mac and I'm actually mirroring the computer that the sticker computer or printer is hooked to. Okay. In this case, I want to be able to show you how to print this on window cling material because it's the most complex one. And I'll also show you how to print it on normal sticker vinyl. Okay. So I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to actually, well, first off, this is the image. And what you do is you drag it in here. So start with that. I'm going to delete the old one by right clicking and hitting delete. And there I go. I have the first one and only sticker. Alright, so double click. The first thing you have to do is, after you change the role, is get media width. So under layout, get media width. This is what I was talking about. After the fact, you could scale. I want to keep it the original scale. I do want to make copies so I don't waste material. Had I wanted one more, however, let's say I wanted 5, but it didn't fit. Well, I could make these smaller. Lower this down, and then add it again. And keep continuing to do this until I had enough for, this case, 5 of them. So that's a good workflow if you wanted more of them. And if I click the scale a little bit more, I can then make this space a little bit better. Okay, so in this case I'm going to print 5 of them on this sheet. This is window cling material, so I can drop this down to go to generic clear film. I want high quality, and I want to be able to print white. Now you can see if it was just normal sticker vinyl, I can just simply go generic vinyl, high quality. So, gonna go that one. High quality, white with CMYK. Since it's on clear, I'm just going to bump up my white just a little bit so it's a little bit more opaque. This will show me my setup. There's nothing really under marks. Under print control, I do want to do a cut after output and a use custom setting. I do like 10 millimeters at the back side. It leaves a lot less waste. Under cut control, the perforation is going to change based upon the material. For regular sticker vinyl, I noticed it's 180. And for the window cling, I'm still playing with that, and I believe it's 210. But please ask what this is if you're doing window cling. Okay, job management, nothing. This one's really handy if you accidentally made your sticker a little big, or you had too much of artboard, because you can actually move this in to get rid of your artboard. So if I was to move this in, and hit OK, that would change everything here. Double click. And the rest of this stuff you don't use right yet. Okay, cool. So this job is now ready to send to the queue. Changing the roll on the back is pretty easy. First off, lift that lever. Reel this up so it's nice and neat. I gotta do this with one hand because of the camera, so it's gonna be a little bit neater than what I'm doing right now. Then you loosen this, and while you're loosening it, you gotta hold on to the material. It slides out and goes onto this cart. Please tighten it and put a rubber band around it, just like this one. Then you can get whatever material you want. I'm going to choose the heaviest that I can't do with one hand. And I'm going to put this roll right back where it was, and then show you how to adjust it. Once you have it in position, keep in mind you can move it back and forth by loosening this one if you wanted to, but make sure you tighten them when you get done. And then on the front side, you'll notice there's a little wheel. It's in the back of here. See this little wheel? Okay, that needs to be on the furthest right hand side. And this one on the left hand side needs to be on the furthest left hand side, but it has to stay within the boundaries of this blue. In other words, I can't be here, I have to be here under the blue. Once I have that one set and this one set, and they're both under the blue on the furthest edge, then I can just go like that. If it's making any kind of chirping noise, it wants me to close the cover. You can proceed now to set a new home point once it gets done doing its processing. To set a home point with the least amount of waste, I'm going to open that door and then come over to my directional pad and show you that there's these 4 buttons. So I'm going to press those 4 buttons to get it to go all the way back to right about there. And the reason there is because at this point the cutter will come over. So to get it a little bit more refined, I'm going to bring the cutter over with the directional buttons. So this is the cutter. Now I know where the cut is, so I'm going to bring this back a little bit further. And this is where I'm going to set home. I set home by coming over to function, clicking it, and going to base point and hitting enter. Now that's the new home, and I have very little waste because of it. Once you're done, close that. I can simply right click on it and go print. Alright, so this is the final output, and you can see that there's 2 cuts. There's one right there and one right there. They're very close to each other. And once you peel them out, they look like that. I'll show you an example of it on a clear piece of glass. Right here is an example of the window cling material. I got one without the white in it. You can see through the teeth, and this one is with the white. So that's what that looks like if you have that white layer active.